Good morning. Today we are making our video for packet number 8. It is due on March 3rd, next week, Tuesday, the end of the trimester. Remember, no late packets. Get it to me by this Friday and you'll get to fix your mistakes. On the first page, it says Sally's aunt is knitting her a striped scarf. Her aunt will use equally sized sections of red, blue, and yellow in that order. So 3 colors repeating. So Sally wants the scarf to be 140 centimeters long when finished, and she wants it to end with a red stripe. So she's starting with the red stripe and then ending with that red stripe. Each stripe measures 5 centimeters. How many blue stripes will there be in the finished scarf? So we know she wants it to be 140 centimeters long, and each of those 3 sections are going to be 5 centimeters long. So the first thing we want to do is divide that scarf up into those 5-inch sections for those colors. Then we need to figure out, all right, that's how many sections there's going to be, how much of each color. So remember, there are 3 colors. So what are we going to divide that into? Then you need to think to yourself, she starts with the red and ends with the red. I can't have a decimal, right? We don't want remainders. You need to do some problem solving to figure out how many inches or how many sections of blue there will be, blue stripes. So we're dividing it up amongst those 5 sections, and then you're dividing it up amongst the colors. And then you're figuring that out. Our next page. This number has 4 digits. Every digit is an odd number. So my odd numbers, none of the digits is 9. So 1, 3, 5, 7. No 9s. Every digit in the number is different. So we're going to use 1, 3, 5, and 7 each one time. The smallest digit goes in the thousands place. So you're going to put your smallest number that we have listed into the thousands place and then cross it off. The greatest digit, the biggest number, goes in the ones place. So that leaves us 2 places and 2 numbers. The number is the greater of the 2 possible remaining numbers. So if the thousands is the biggest place, then we have the hundreds. You're going to probably want to put the next biggest number in that hundreds place, right? Because we want to make it the biggest number that we can. So you're going to show me all 4 numbers, making sure you're following those rules. Our next page is our 5-card challenge. We know how to do that, making sure that our different number combinations equal the number 5. Then we have our pattern page. Who remembers my favorite kind of numbers? Rhoda? Perfect squares. We see them all the time on pattern pages. So let's see if we can figure out patterns. We need to complete the table for blue and yellow blocks. So first I'm going to fill in my yellow numbers. There's 1 yellow, then there's 5 yellow, then 9 yellow, then 13 yellow. Does that row have anything, or column have anything to do with perfect squares? No. Can you see what the pattern is? So you can continue it on down to the bottom. Now let's look at our blue. There are 0 blue in the first figure. Then we have 4 blue, 16 blue, 36 blue. Are we starting to see my favorite numbers? Vinny, how did I get 4? Using my favorite number. Yeah, which one? Yeah, 2 squared. How did I get 16, Alex? 4 squared. How did I get 36, Fernanda? 6 squared. You should start to see a pattern on how we are going to finish that column. Always look for those patterns. Finish those 2 columns. Next page. Finding our areas. Remember, when it says area of the figure, that's our whole shape. So to find that, you do length times width. So we've got length times width. That's our first area. Then the area of the shaded region. In order to find that, we need to find the white area. So find the white area. We need to figure out what this number is and what this number is. They tell us what the shaded part is. You need to figure out what the white sides are, because then we're going to take our whole area, we're going to subtract that white area, and we will be left with the shaded area. So find the whole, then find the white, and you take the white away. You're left with your shaded. Our next page. Now, for Math 6, we need to draw and label the net. So it's a cube. We should be able to do our cube, and then we have to label it. So we have to figure out what each side is of the cube. It's a cube, so they're all going to be the same number. Now, we know that its volume is 729. So the volume of a cube is the length times the width times the height. All 3 of these numbers have to be the same because it's a cube. So you need to figure out what number do we multiply by itself 3 times, length, width times height, and we're going to equal 729. So if you do something like 3, because sometimes we just have to guess and check, well, 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Ooh, is that close to 729? No, that's pretty far away. So I'm going to guess and check a bigger number. I'm going to say, okay, let's try 10. 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Times 10 is 1,000. Oh, that's too big. So I know the number I want is in between that 3 and that 10. Joy. The volume of that cube is 729. So to fill it up, it's 729 cubic feet. Each of these sides, we have the length, the width, and the height. We multiplied those 3 together to figure out that volume. Length times width times height. Does that make sense? So we know that because it's a cube, they're all the same size. Because that cube has squares for its face, squares are all the same size. Did that help, Joy? So you need to make sure you draw your net and then label the sides. What measurement is each of those sides? Now, this is a new page. So, for Math 6, we need to do 2 of the 7 of these. So complete 2 of them. So our rectangular prism for the volume is length times width times height. I'm gonna give us a couple of these measurements, and we need to figure out that third measurement. So you can put a 3 in for the length and a 4 in for the width. So if 3 times 4 is 12, and I know my volume is 144, I need to find that height. I'm gonna do those opposite operations. So instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide by that 3, divide by that 4. And what I'm left with is what that height will be. So do your opposite operations. For the cube, length times width by height. But they all have to be the same number. Oh, spoiler. Look at that. That volume of the cube is 729. We just had a cube on the other page whose volume was 729 that we needed to label those side lengths. So if you figured out the last page, it's going to help you with this one. If you want to do the triangular prism, that is base times height times the length divided by 2. And our numbers to fill in, length of 2, height of 4. Our pyramid is length times width times height divided by 3. And you could fill in a 6 or a 16. For our cylinder, that is pi r squared times the height with a radius of 6. Our cone is pi radius squared height divided by 3 with a height of 2. And our sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, you only have to do 2 of these. So pick which 2 you want to do. You don't have to do all of them. If you don't want to work with pi and the radius, don't do those ones. Do the ones that you can do. You have to do 2. On our last page, we have our data. The salespeople are divided into teams of no more than 3. One team sold 28%, another team sold 46%, and the other sold 26%. Which salespeople were on each team? They can only be on one team. Okay, so you have team 1, team 2, and team 3. If team 1 is the 28%, team 2 is the 46%, team 3 is the 26%. Figure out which person goes with which percentage. So like Dodsworth would be the 27%. Suyama is the 24%, right? Figure out what percent each person has, and then figure out who mixed together. Only 3 per team. Sometimes you do some guessing and checking. You might find one team works, but then you can't get the other 2 teams to work, so you gotta start over. Okay, adding together their percentages to equal 28%, 46%, and 26%. With that, we are finished with our packet number 8. Make sure get it to me by Friday in order to be able to fix up any mistakes that you made. It is due next Tuesday, no lates. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.